What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. Now, in a week that felt like it was packed with Fantastic Four news, and trust me, it was, reports of John Krasinski finally meeting with Marvel Studios, and even that Avengers 1 and Age of Ultron director Joss Whedon could be eyed to either direct or at least consult on the first installment for the first family's first franchise in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Apparently, they're not the only superhero team in pre-production over at Marvel Studios, as towards the end of the week, and in just the last 48 hours, we started to get a ton of reports and rumors about none other than Avengers 5. Everything from perhaps a new title, pun totally intended, and a new team leader to cameo and roster spots, one specific friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and even this most recent report of who the main villain will be, and it's not anyone we thought. We're going to break down all of these crazy reports about Avengers 5, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we're giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, as well as a whole slew of other Marvel-related stuff, including a limited edition Infinity Saga box set. We just gave away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros the other morning. Make sure you check back on that video. That's Mark Ruffalo talks about the next installment for the Hulk. All you have to do to be entered to win, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and if you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Now, first things first, we're actually going to cover 3 or 4 different headlines from just as many sources throughout this video. I'll make sure to note where each one is coming from. Most specifically, we're going to start with Jeremy Conrad's latest from MCU Cosmic, the rumor that Captain Marvel 2 may set up the new Avengers, capital N, capital A. Now, this is a title that's been rolling around the internet for quite a while, the better part of the last 2 months, that Avengers 5 could actually be titled The New Avengers, not that it would just be a new Avengers film, and it's hard to tell if one sort of matriculated into the other. People started saying New Avengers and then capitalized to the N, but either way, this is where we're at now with this title, and outside of it being an extension of Captain Marvel 2, which we're going to get to shortly, and perhaps being a Secret Invasion film, there's another industry insider, specifically in Mikey Sutton, who may have tipped us off, and the whole time indicating that the Illuminati are headstrong into the MCU, given what we already know about the characters they're adding, and very soon this is looking more and more likely the case. And one of the most famous Illuminati titles, none other than the New Avengers. It could be these are one and the same, adding a lot of validity to this new title, New Avengers, capital N, capital A, that's been swirling around the internet now for the last 60 days. Now, getting back to Jeremy Conrad's original article, as he points out, whoever gets to helm the director title for Captain Marvel 2 might actually get a shot at the New Avengers title, as one would lead directly to the other, and continues by pointing out that the Young Avengers title that's rumored to also be in development over at Marvel Studios would most likely be headed to a Disney Plus outing. Again, this coming from industry insider Thomas Polito recently, that he had heard that they had started taking pitches indeed for the Young Avengers, and let's face it, guys, we know the team is coming. They've already started to slot a ton of members into upcoming MCU projects, mostly early in Marvel Phase 4 and on Disney Plus, and for characters that will have their origin on that platform already and then form a team that mirrors the name of a huge Marvel franchise that's on the silver screen, I think it only makes logical sense to split them up amongst platforms. Now, speaking of the silver screen version of the Avengers, and outside of Brie Larson becoming the next and obvious leader of the team, this is something we had reported on almost 2 months ago, and a really erroneous headline that made it sound like Marvel Studios had to meet some sort of demands for Brie Larson. It was always the plan to have her lead the Avengers. When they had to meet demands, quote unquote, that was just part of negotiations for her contract and to get paid evenly like her male co-stars. Now that that's out of the way and coming up for this next iteration of the team, the most recent rumor in a headline from the direct.com that Spider-Man is to appear in the capital N New Avengers film, again matriculating the title to be New Avengers, and that Spider-Man would be involved. Now, the reason this is important, and as Spider-Man fans will tell you, there were only 2 movies included in the contract extension with Sony, one to be the upcoming Spider-Man 3, as yet unnamed. However, quick side note, and in case you're wondering, executive producer Amy Pascal did confirm this week that Home will indeed be part of the title for the 3rd Spider-Man movie in the MCU, completing the triumvirate for the trilogy and hopefully ending a ridiculous naming trend that could have started nowhere else but Sony Studios. If the New Avengers is the second part of the contract, then obviously they need to extend the agreement or relinquish relinquish the rights to Peter Parker and send him on a one-way ticket over to the Sony Spider-Verse that includes a Venom, a Morbius, perhaps the extensions of the Sinister Six, but still no Spider-Man. Now, you may remember here at the channel, we broke in an exclusive that Spider-Man would indeed show up in the next Fantastic Four film, and it would be impossible for this to take place, him to be in all three, Spider-Man 3, The New Avengers, and Fantastic Four, without some sort of extension. But coming from industry insider Mikey Sutton, again, the same one who broke that exclusive, it was always the plan to extend this contract. And we've heard recently from CEOs on both sides, Disney and Sony, that what wasn't working in their advantage before was the news cycle, that unfortunately during negotiations, a lot of the headlines painted a picture that an extension wasn't possible, when indeed CEOs and both companies understand where the money is keeping Peter Parker a part of the MCU and keeping Marvel Studios involved with the IP. And look what it's led to. Now we're starting to see a Spider-Verse that's growing, and the inclusion of the Vulture, Michael Keaton's iteration from the MCU, showing up in the movie Morbius. That's just the beginning of how they plan on doing this crossover, but it is going to keep Peter Parker's Tom Holland in the MCU, and for fans of that iteration of the character and for the continuity that we so want to keep intact, this is really good news. Now, speaking of good news, and unbelievably, for a film that's got to be in the earliest stages of pre-production and development over at Marvel Studios, we actually got another headline about Avengers 5, this time a rumor about the villain supposedly coming from the same source that said that Taskmaster would be the villain in Black Widow. Incidentally, that's where we may find the first real Easter egg for this character, with the inscription AIM written on that device that looks like it's about to attach Yelena Belova's most famous visor that sort of makes her look like a Spider-Woman. Either way, the villain MODOK has been making his rounds quite a bit here recently, and we've chronicled this here at the channel. Marvel Studios started with a property where Patton Oswalt was attached for an animated adult cartoon in which he had just been fired from AIM, sort of how it goes down the first iteration of the character in the comics. It's looking more and more like Marvel Studios may have been in love with his portrayal of the character, no longer headed for an animated series, but a live-action MCU movie in that, maybe even the New Avengers, starting with his inclusion as the villain in Ant-Man 3. And literally, this has been matriculating over the last 2 months, starting as just a rumor, now heavy reports that his character is indeed headed to live-action MCU. And this makes a lot of sense for a couple reasons, outside of Patton Oswalt being an absolute powerhouse of an actor that could handle a silver screen portrayal and absolutely would murder a mocap version of MODOK. Try to say that 3 times fast, mocap version of MODOK. The two reasons being, A, MODOK the character himself actually fits the goings-on in Phase 4 with all the technology Easter eggs we've already gotten in Black Widow, an extension of what's going on with Falcon in the Winter Soldier. And B, remember, Kevin Feige said there would be 2 distinct things, probably a cosmic-based and an Earth-based threat. MODOK for the Earth-based threat seems to make a lot of sense, and an intermediate villain on their way to whatever big villain they're going to lead up to, like Thanos during Marvel Phase 4. You still have to have your mini bosses leading to the big boss. MODOK would definitely fit that bill and crosses over nicely with a ton of other characters that they're set to introduce. Either way, this is a ton of news about an Avengers 5 that we hadn't quite heard anything about in a while. And if you'll remember, I've said it so many times here at the channel, if you've watched any videos, there's a chance you've caught this. I have always maintained that there is no way Marvel stuck all this money into a franchise like the Avengers to never do another Avengers movie. No other studio would do that. That's not how businesses work. When you have what's become one of the biggest franchises in the entire world, you're not going to let that go. It was only a matter of time, and I'm absolutely ecstatic we're starting to hear about that now. Guys, let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below about any of this. MODOK being the villain, the inclusion of Spider-Man as the second movie on his contract, Captain Marvel leading the film, it even being called New Avengers. I'm all ears. Let me know all your thoughts down below, and quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. But before we do that, if you guys hang out on Twitch at all, if you like watching video games or want to come hang out in our new community, I've started streaming most nights under twitch.tv/Nvellen. That's Nvellen. I'll make sure to leave a link down in the comments and description when I go live. I play a ton of different video games, and we'll also be doing some live interactive MCU content when the Disney Plus shows go live. You can follow me over there. Again, there'll be a link down in the description. Now to the giveaway stuff, we're still giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, the next of which is at the 650,000 subscriber mark. We'll easily hit that by month's end. All you have to do to be entered to win, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and that'll automatically enter you to win all the rest of the prizes at the channel, like the limited edition Infinity Saga box set. We gave the first one away on New Year's Eve. We'll be giving the second one away on the second anniversary of the channel in just the end of this month. So if you want to get entered to win any of the prizes, as we're going to double down all the way up to the million over the next couple of years, hopefully, knock on wood, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the sub button, notification bell with notifications turned on, like and comment on this video. Because it's truly random, the more videos you like and comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos, like we did just a couple days ago when we gave away 2 random PS4s on top of all our regular giveaways. You can find that in Mark Ruffalo Talks, the Hulk's next iteration. All you got to do is scroll back through the channel, look for the winner announcement in the sub count in the title of those videos, hit the video and scroll to the end. My name is Michael Roman. This is Everything Always, guys. Thanks so much for checking out the channel, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.